I don't think I could have done that if I hadn't started to work on my worthy story. And I didn't think I was worthy based on my trauma.
How did you become such a successful entrepreneur when the odds were stacked against you from literally age 7?
It would be doing the work. So I'll put that annoying kind of ad lib there. But for those who just like summaries, it would be doing the work. The homelessness was, I deviated from the memo. I got pregnant before I was meant to get married. So there was a certain route that I was meant to take according to the standards of the world of what success looks like. And it got to a place that I couldn't live at home anymore. But when I became homeless, and I remember myself sleeping at the door because I needed to be first at the queue to really ask for emergency housing, then I got put into what's the halfway house. And I remember, I'd graduated from uni, I had a first class degree, I had failed, so it wasn't without failure and then being successful again. And I just remember questioning when I was in on my bed and I saw this like rat run past, and you can hear people speaking 2 a.m. in the morning, whether it's dealing drugs or fighting, and just asking myself, do I want this? Is this where I want to be? So I think I got curious from that point. And without doing the work, because by then I was pregnant, I gave birth and life would have been busy. But every time I've come to a difficult juncture in my life, I've asked the question, is this what you want? Is this the feeling you want? And then I figured out what it is I need to do. As time has gone on, the move to Australia was huge because I think there's something very sacred about this land. But it was also where I came across personal development programs like Landmark and Tony Robbins. So even though I think I was skeptical about these things before, I had this theory of, but is anyone going to die if I go on this? And I was one of those people who'd go to these events and I'm like, I'm sitting at the back because I do not want to be called out and I need to be able to get out the minute I think this is all whack. So even with my kind of like dubiousness of these things, I was still willing to give it a go. And that's my invitation to people, still be willing to give it a go. And on doing all this personal development, it now came to a point of, okay, why does this still bother you? But why are you in Australia on your own? You have 6 other siblings and you're not with them. There is something in that story, Yemi. You need to look at it. And in looking at it, I was able to start to have empathy for myself, for my siblings, for my parents. And I have to be honest, if I was going to link it, it changed my view on fear, risk taking. And it was from doing that work that was like, I think I can open up a consultancy. I think governments will want to do work with me, regardless of whether I'm a woman, man, non-binary, I believe. And I started to look for people who had done that in the past. I think of the women on Hidden Figures who went to the judge and said, I know colored people can't study in the same classrooms, but imagine if you were the judge that allowed me to go on and I worked on NASA and all sorts. Like I go back, that's why I watch movies, because there is something in the history that gives me strength to carry on. And so I did that. I did the same when it was time to open up my gym. I want to open up a gym, but not in Sydney where I live, in London. And it's because I visualized the Rasta man on his steel drums. I visualized the community. Like, I'm really big into visualization. But I don't think I could have done that if I hadn't started to work on my worthy story. And I didn't think I was worthy based on my trauma. So it's all linked. And I've got a program coming up, Rebellious Curiosity Masterclass, where I work with people, because I've never done it before, but I wanted to find a formula. Being an engineer, I needed to find a formula of what exactly did cleaning my trauma do to allow me to be successful, to open up businesses. I'm now in a different phase because I've sold the gym, the cafe closed down. I'm now doing a PhD, but believe I have plans for when that's done. There's so much in that, but I think there's a formula, but I had to experience it first so that I can come back and teach.
Yes. And I'm hearing the core of that message of not just to have empathy in yourself and for others, and also the belief in your own self-worth and visualizing what you want, making a reality, but just being willing to give it a go.
Yes.
And that's not just for personal development, and it's not just for some sport that you want to try out. It's for everything. That's the entrepreneurial spirit, right?
Yeah. Give it a go. But if there is this crippling fear attached to giving it a go, then that's the work you need to go do. That's the work you need to go do. But why wouldn't you give it a go?